Hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. It's Enterprise here coming at you with a build that I came up with on the Corvette with the Endless Requiem. Just one that you guys have been asking for a while in my community and have asked me to put a video on it. I've been slacking, of course, to get it done, but here we are. Me and my buddy Robin Hood had worked on this a while ago. It is for the Corvette with the Endless Requiem torpedoes. It's something we worked on for farming the lizard, and come this season in year 3, it has gone through a lot of buffs with our skill tree. We're gonna go over that first, and I'll show you guys what my skills were for this build. So in here, for our main 3 skills in here, we took Shield of Contempt. That pairs perfectly with our Leviathan armor to increase the armor by 100 for every enemy there, which then gets multiplied by the Leviathan percentage, which is awesome. Then we went with Emergency Repair. Upon dropping below 50% maximum health, you repair for 30% maximum hull health over 3 seconds. I'm a very big fan of Double Survivor on the armor, so we run this so we don't have to run Double Survivor on our armor. And then we run Reactive Bulwark because whenever we brace, people explode. It's cool. It's not really effective with the armor I have on, but it's still helpful. Then to the north, we spent some of our nodes on the hard munitions. We went up the middle part of this section, did all the damage. Key thing to note, we went for all the torpedo speed upgrades. So weapon projectile speed upgrade right here and right here. And then we came over to the right and we jetted over here and got swift strikes as well, here twice. We jetted over, we went up the whole reload side because we have 2 damages. Then we get up to blood for blood. Then we took left to get the Deadeye and the reload. And then we went right to get the Deadeye and the reload. And then we busted off to the right here because we have all hands on deck. Increases our torpedo damage. We grabbed the second one and we grabbed the third one. Then we came over here and grabbed the torpedo speed. For this build, it's very important that you grab all the torpedo speed. So we grabbed these torpedo speeds. This will come into effect when I explain the furniture. And then we have 3 sets of torpedo damage, which again increase it. And then we come back down here. We took damage control for our final point in the very end because we needed something to go along with it. So you get a little bit of damage for the severe damage, which is great. Don't have to run a buoy. Don't have to run anything of the sort. Helps that out. And then we came down here. This benefits the perks on the torpedoes and the Ascension. We went with Specialized Munitions 1. Took each reactive compounds node all the way over here till Specialized Munitions 2. And then we jumped up and we took Expanding Casing. We took this all the way down. So we will reallocate this. We are not using this. Reallocate it over here. So we came through here. We took up all the 40% flooding damages. That's 5 times. And then we came down here. We took all the flooding penetrations 5 times because that means we can get through the armor better. Then we came over here. We took Vicious Munitions, which increases our status effect damage. We don't really care much about the lifetime because we're always hitting them with torpedoes. Then we come down here, get our Concentrated Payload a couple times. Then we go to Vicious Munitions 2. Make sure to grab that. And then we come down here. We go down Heavy Flooding because we want the flooding damage to do more. This is 50% more on top of the extra 50% here. So that's 100% on top of the 10 and the 15. So that's 125% more damage from the flooding status effect, which these will flood all the time. Moving on to our build. We put this on the Corvette. Mine has 102,000 hull health, 20,544 brace strength, 1583 armor. Anyone familiar with the game knows the Corvette's perk, but the Corvette's perk, each successful shot at an enemy or repair allies applies a stack flag bearer. On those enemy targets, each stack increases the damage dealt to the target by 1% per stack, up to 20%. So that means if we get 20 stacks on them, we're going to do 20% more damage, and that's a lot of torpedoes hitting the target. So that's going to get on there all the time. If we're repairing people, you get more repair efficiency per stack. Any ships that are not a large ship, so not the galleon, the frigate, or the Corvette, gain 5% increased damage or repair. and it increases the hull health restored by repair weapons by 5% if we're using them, which we're not, but it would if we did. Then she has upgraded mark. At those maximum stacks of that flag bearer perk, the target will receive an additional 10% weak point damage, and allies will repair 1% of incoming severe damage when you're at 20 stacks of flag bearer on a healing target. We're not healing, so that wouldn't come into effect, but that 10% weak point damage is great if you're fighting, said Huback twins, or something that has weak points that can get hit in the waterline. She's colossal. 30% reduction of sailing speed with the Corvette and the frigate and the galleon. You're not really going to be going rivers very much with these. If you're going on rivers, I would highly recommend the Brigantine, which this build works on as well, but it does have a better damage output because of the amount of gun ports for the torpedoes. This build is interchangeable on the Brigantine. Then we have the 30% increased damage taken by that weak point damage, which we're going to completely mitigate with our furniture and our armor. And onto the build now. So when we come down here, and so on our bow, there was a torpedo launcher that came out a couple seasons ago for the faction war. These torpedoes specialize in homing, so they will sway their aim to get to the target. It's not pinpoint tracking torpedo, but it does help. You have quick arming. These are the shortest arming torpedoes. They arm almost instantly. I believe I have my arming distance down to 45 meters, something like that. It's very, very short. And then on this front one, it's a specialty one that came from a faction war. So we've got rapid reload, double soul mending, and I put waterlogged as our mythic. These are all box pulled items. By what box pulled means is our item will have a higher percentage. So say we would come in here, say we take our carronade here, it's fully ascended. See how it's at 100 rolls, it's fully ascended, it's got all of those on there, so the percentages are going to be higher. So if we come up here and we take our Endless Requiem for chance, the Endless Requiem has the rapid reload, or for our front here, we have rapid reload and double soul mending. Soul mending only goes up to, I believe, 6.8% on a non-box pull. So when you pull it out of a box or the water and it's pre-ascended, it has a higher percentage of the actual ascension on it. So that ascension will have a higher percentage, and it goes for any box pulled weapon compared to a one you have to roll. But then, so this one on the front, great for healing yourself if you're in a pinch. It's dead. It'll do a ton of damage. The front torpedo launcher does somewhere around 65k with both torpedoes. You're going to be healing yourself for about 20,000 damage. It's great. It's lovely. It heals you really fast. On our broadsides, so these broadsides are identical, left and right, we have box pulled Endless Requiems, which you can also get out of the water at World Tier 3 and 4 quite easily from the Huback twins. I recommend World Tier 3 because it drops probably 1 to 2 torpedo launchers in every 30 to 40 twin spot, and they go down super easy when you're maxed out. But on these, we rolled Rupturing, Amp Flooding, Waterlogged. We rolled that on the right, and we rolled that also on the left. So we have the same rolls on the left. Now, for our stern weapon, we rolled another one. Almost bricked this one, but the blacksmith was nice enough to let me finish it. We have Rapid Reload. Really like Rapid Reload for the front and the back because there's only 2. We run Double Severity because it's a big chance for a really big hit if somebody's chasing us. We're not really looking for it, but if it happens, awesome. And then Waterlogged because that additional 9% severe damage is a nice hit. When you're doing 100,000 damage per torpedo, the 9% really equals out to a nice percentage there. It's like 6,000 or 7,000 damage, which is really nice, and it's severe damage, so it's permanent. Our auxiliary, one of my personal favorites, the Leopold 3. We have dire flooding, amplified flooding, overflow, corpse explosive bomb. The corpse explosive bomb is really strong. If you kill something with it, everything's going to explode around it. That mythic is optional. If you would like to take waterlog, take waterlog. That's a great alternative as well. Adds that extra bit of damage. It's great. If you were to change the first perk, rupturing is great for a little bit more damage, but that little bit of target resistance up in World Tier 4 seems to work a little bit better for me. Onto our armor. Our armor is a pre-boxed roll Leviathan, which you can get out of the chests at Lenitra, the protector chest. He drops pre-ascended armor up to mythics and everything. In World Tier 4, it's a lot more common to get them out of him. So our main perk on our Leviathan is Hydro Pneumatic. Hydro Pneumatic allows us to have more armor while we're sailing, and the Corvette goes about 18 knots. So the math there adds up really quickly, and it reduces weak point damage by 35%. When you're shooting off the broadside, the weak point on the large ships is huge. That takes our damage reduction down. We ran piercing resistance, ironclad, because we want to dump into the armor to make it more defensive. Then we ran adept spiking integration, because every 10% of the piercing resistance on this armor is going to add 256 armor. Now, our piercing resistance is up to 46. That's why we took piercing resistant to boost our mythic here. Adept spiking, which adds that extra. So we get an extra 1,024 armor added onto this when we're sailing around, which already boosts it well over 2,500 armor. And then we add the Hydro Pneumatic. It's going to boost it even more, up to pushing 3,000 with our main perk, the Hydro Pneumatic, which is going to make it very defensible against things. So we don't get one shot, because remember, we don't have anything into the skill tree to protect us. It is a glass cannon. That's how it's designed. It's meant to pump out that DPM. It's great for it. Then we come on to our armor. The most two important pieces of furniture are rampant carriage hold as your major, and caustic spall as the minor. Then our other ones are tuning station, torpedo works, Quebec tuning rack, and expanding corkscrew station. This expanding corkscrew station is not craftable, along with caustic spall station. Caustic spall station can be traded along with expanding corkscrew station and the rest of the furniture in this build. The expanding corkscrew station is found from Jonas Vanderkill. You can loot it out of him from his chest, kill him a couple times. Great way to get it. Caustic spall station comes around Halloween, out of the Requiem of the Lost event. It's a great piece of furniture. It can be traded. You can find it throughout the trading community. It is a pretty penny, but there are people willing to trade it for you. Our Ravage Carriage Hold. After 10 consecutive hits on a target, it applies the Seize Roar effect to your ship and the nearest ally within 150 meters. Missing a shot resets the counter. But remember, we're with endless Requiems if we're fighting a boss, say La Peste, or the Lizard, the Kara Hebrew. We can hit all the torpedoes, and once you get 10 torpedo hits, we're doing 17% more secondary damage, and all secondary damage at your ship is reduced by 15%. And it decreases your weapon's reload by 7%. And we took all the reload perks in the tree. Very quick reload on these torpedoes, something like 2.5 seconds for the sides, 2 for the front and the back. That secondary damage is going to boost our amplified flooding twice, because there's 2 of them. And it's also going to boost a little bit of that severe damage as well. So it's going to hit like a freight train. Really nice for deleting everything on the map. The mortar will hold up for towers, so you don't really need to worry about that. Caustic Spall Station here. Damage dealt with a flooding weapon from over 200 meters away increases flooding damage by 13% for 10 seconds. Remember, we took all those flooding perks, so we're adding 13% on top of that 125% damage to the flooding. So that's even more flooding damage when you're further away from the target. You have a decent amount of range, you can use it. Now, for a 1% increase in projectile speed of the weapon through bonuses, including flooding damage of those weapons by up to 1%, up to 30%. We have our torpedo speed increased by 13% here and 10% here. That's 23%. It maxes out at 30%. But those speed buffs that we took in the tree, there was, I believe, 40%. It's going to add 40% onto that because the skills in the tree aren't furniture, but they dump into furniture. So that 40% is instantly going to go into there with that 23%. That's instantly going to go up to 63%. And it increases flooding damage to enemy ships, or increases damage when they're flooded. And they're torpedoes, they're always going to flood. So it's just going to boost your damage more and more. Then we have Tuning Station. It's going to increase secondary damage. It's going to buff that out flooding up, and that's going to buff that flood up. That's going to do a lot more damage. Get that projectile speed as we already talked about. And we restore 10% crew stamina per second while out of combat. So when you're not out of combat, you got a lot of stamina to brace. So when you get into combat, you're good. Then we have the Torpedo Works to increase that secondary damage more with our amps and our other furniture. Then we have Huback Tuning Rack. For that, you get a little bit more damage and the range, because you have the speed for the caustic and the 14% more range. And it's always nice to have more range. And it reduces the arming distance by 25%. So we brought that down even more to about 40 and about 48 meters is the arming distance, something like that. And then we also increase the secondary damage of flooding weapons, which is, it's a torpedo, so it's a flooding weapon. And it increases the range, so we have even more range. We're looking at about almost 700 meter range, which is great for Requiems. Just fantastic, because they only go about 500 normally. Then, if you're feeling like taking it into Death Tides, being frisky, you can take this into Death Tides. I highly recommend you change the mortar for an Infernal Maw for the mines. And this is a great, True Endless Requiem is great for Death Tides, if you choose to bring it in there. Now, in the bottom right hand corner, we got 40% explosive resistance, 43% flooding resistance, a little bit of fire resistance, about 18%, 46 piercing resistance, no electric resistance, but we don't need to fight the dragon. And it's not a ship I normally take into Death Tides, although it is very good in there. It does get slapped around a little bit. And 20% poison resistance, which is fantastic for an armor with nothing into poison resistance. For anybody wondering about the ship set, we are running in here. If we go down to our set, the majority of the set is from the Demise Rot set. These are the sails, bunch of pink, bunch of white, a little bit of blue iridescence, black and yellow for the hull color, and that emblem on the sails comes from defeating the Kraken. It's one of the cosmetics you can get out of his mythic box, not the weapons chest, but the one he drops. And now we're going to show you guys some gameplay on this, take it out there, do a couple of world events, and we're going to go run over to the Lizard as well. So here's the Ansanaga. We'll run over there. Didn't see if it was started already, but we'll take a look. And the Ansanaga, not started yet, but we'll come out to the outballing here. This is the outballing. We are in World Tier 4. You take that into account. World Tier 3, everything is going to fall apart to this. You're going to demolish everything. But if we come out here, World Tier 3. Great. World Tier 4, this ship still holds its own. So if we come out here, we can fire our mortar. It might get the flood, it might not get the flood, but we have a very quick torpedo reload, so we're not too worried. We're just going to keep launching and launching and launching. And if you notice, there's a black bar at the top. We're doing about 95,000 damage with the torpedoes. We can crew attack him. As you can see, he didn't obliterate us because of that Leviathan. That Leviathan's providing some amazing armor. Goes up, 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 up. Get rid of these. That's the outballing down. Smash. Not too hard of an enemy, but, you know, she can kick you around. Now, if we go out to the pest here, we'll do a little bit of a test. This is one of the better farms for deep iron in World Tier 4. We do have this pesky tower. We'll take this pesky tower out. See if it one-shots. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And she's gone with the weak point hit. We'll go ahead and spawn in the pest here. Just waiting. I did make a song for this. It'll be playing about right now, and it goes perfectly with these torpedoes. It's a great tune for it. But without further ado, once Lepest comes in here, you'll get to see what these torpedoes can do. Even when he has the armor to fix, they still hit pretty hard. Come on, Lepest here. Start shooting our torpedoes. They got decent range, so we should be able to connect a lot of these torpedoes to him. As you can see, we're going to get that instant flood. He doesn't have the armored status effect, so this is going to go very swell. We're going to light him up here. See that armored? That Leviathan? It keeps us protected, because if we didn't have that Leviathan, we would have just got slapped. Like, ultimately slapped. Without that Leviathan, if you say run a Nocturne Heart, you're going to be brought to one shot immediately. Nocturne Heart is a great alternative on this ship if you don't have a box full Leviathan, but see, that big cannon strike barely touched us. Barely touched us. And he is gone. Just like that. Just like that. Very easily taken out. We'll head back to shore here. Grab ourselves some lizard flares. This is my favorite boat to farm the lizard. I call him the red lizard. Real fun guy to farm. Great source of deep iron, or not deep iron. Great source of pearls, nightshade pearls. Great source of that. It is a great source of guild marks, and it is a great source of monstrous teeth and primordial fangs. Great source for that. Come over here to the lizard. We're gonna just spawn them in. It doesn't matter how close we are, as long as we have that red line so they arm. You're gonna see it's gonna do a lot of damage because he doesn't have resistances like a lot of the other boats. So, and he's too close, but they still arm with an effective distance. As you can see, we got 4 pearls, 121 guild marks, 4 flesh, 4 teeth, 2 scales, and 3 primordial fangs. Great source of those, great farm, great guild marks. You can make some pretty nice items, all of that fun stuff. You can get about 2 to 3 lizards done a minute with this farm. With this build, of course, this is my favorite build for this. You hit all the torpedoes, does a lot of damage. It ignores what he can do. I mean, we're just absolutely decimating his health. And in just a couple of torpedo strikes, you can see he's gone. It's very, very effective. Now, if we go back out here, we go to Tai Ning. I'm going to show it off at her. I don't recommend bringing these to Vikram. Vikram needs piercing. Something like the Hakas or piercing resistance stuff would be great. We're not wanting to fight the Pazirja, so we're just going to leave these guys alone. But we'll head over here to Tai Ning, and we'll give you a show on her. Hopefully these guys do not get in our way here with that Pazirja. It is nice having that here. We'll launch a couple torpedoes at her. Just to show you what they can do on her. Well, there's a lot of people here, so. Alright, now here we are at Tai Ning. We're going to spawn her in. She's going to spawn it over there. Gonna rip some torpedoes out towards her. Just start ripping them. Biggest mistake you can make is to not stop moving, because everything's gonna hurt if that Leviathan isn't active. As you can see, we're getting slapped up here. But she has not the armored perk, but if we take a look at Tai Ning here, she has Phalanx and Rallying Cry. We can just keep lighting her up with these torpedoes, and she's just gonna go down. I mean, it's just an effective build. We're doing a really big flooding tick on her, and just the damage keeps going up. We're doing almost a 20,000 flood damage tick, and she's just dead. And she is just dead. If we get the chance here, we'll go take it down to Dirk and Sanaga and show you what on them as well. Just normal ships, pretty good. Bang. Some of these guys you'll have trouble catching them up, but they're not slow torpedoes by any means with all these upgrades. The mortar still holds up very well. The only problem is, you know, they are going to run away like that, and then you might not be able to catch up to them. I know this is a pretty popular test with Sanaga, so as soon as we're able to fast travel, we'll go over there. Move around us in combat. Check our magical radar. Now we come over here to Sanaga. When we're at Sanaga, we're gonna come up here and we're gonna fight him. And as you can see, Sanaga's just gone. And that wraps up our Endless Requiem video. I know a lot of you guys were asking for this, and I'm very happy to deliver. I'm very happy to bring this to you guys, and I hope it does really well for you guys out on the seas. And if you got any suggestions or anything I should do next for a build, feel free to put it in the comments. And I love all you guys. This is an awesome community. Happy hunting, happy sailing, and I will see all you guys in the next one.